FX what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. And in this video guys, we're going to go ahead and take a look at one of our group sessions that we just did last week. And we went over actually backtesting gold. So I want to take you back to that particular session. Again, this is a group session that we do every week for our mentoring students. The session was well over about 2 hours long. This is literally just a little glimpse of it. But we were backtesting gold, so I want you guys to listen and think about the process that we went through in that session while backtesting gold. All right, guys, so I hope you enjoyed this particular video this week. All right, so let's play this real quick. All right, so what do you see so far? No worry, Tracy. What do you see so far, Daniel, on this? It's Monday. What do you have so far from the previous week? What was the previous cycle the previous week? Accumulation, right? So going in to this week, obviously it's Monday, right? So you really don't have really anything to go off of besides just coming off of an accumulation cycle. Now they did do a strong move on Friday that dropped, right? And then you came off of that. And now you're trading above the 50 EMA going into the London session. So play this out. The first leg here, second leg was here, came down. Now you're coming up from the from the U.S. session, right? Where are you at the beginning of the U.S. session? You're here, right? You're not at the top. You're not at the bottom. Where are you? The middle. So what's likelier to happen, or what's likely to happen, right? Be a continuation like a trade down, right? So a continuation trade down. And so where would your, where would your first take profit be? Or be like the bottom of the range here? Would be the safest bet since you don't have the EMAs in your favor and it's Monday. You don't know how far down this thing could go. Does that make sense? Whether it's here, what is this? It's still 2 to 1. So you see how it just accumulates. You get a trade that accumulates, and then that's it for the day. Do you see that? So you had the high here. I don't even need to do this, but the lines are already there. So you're in the middle between the high and the low of Sunday, Monday. Right. So nothing really there so far. You don't know really what direction because the EMAs are still above you. So unless price gets rejected by the 50 EMA here, you'd still be selling. If not, it would go straight through these and then you'd be buying. Does that make sense? So because of that, of the fact that you're just coming off and you're literally in the middle, you don't know yet what's going to happen. You don't know yet what's going to do. And it damn sure don't help that it behaves like that, straight sideways. See how tight the TDI is, straight sideways is coiling. So there's going to be a breakout at some point, whether it's today, tomorrow, whenever. So here you see you're getting tapped at the 200, but then now you're getting into a situation where the 50's right here, the 200's right here, and it's just essentially, what is that going to do to price? Squeeze, right? So when it gets squeezed like this, what's the likelihood or what's the likely outcome of this? Right, it's going to take off, yes, but it's going to take off where? Higher or lower? Right, you say to the 800, well, price is already above the Asian range, right? So the likelihood of it squeezing up to go higher is more likely than it squeezing down actually to go lower. So there's the beginning of the US session. So I mean, essentially, if this is going to happen, then you'd essentially want to be ready to take a trade if it breaks this high here, because it should go higher to the 800. And if it goes up to the 800, let's just say from here to here, it's well over or pretty close to a 2-to-1 almost, 2-to-1 risk to reward ratio. You see that? And then you're setting your, say your stop loss is somewhere around here, around the 50 or so. And there you go. So because of that move, what does that tell you about the week so far? What would you be looking now to do? Buys, right? You'd be looking for buys. So now the next day comes. For looking for buys, ideally look where the 50 is. So it'd be looking for the ideal buys that I'd probably be looking for somewhere here, somewhere where it's touching the 50. Does that make sense? Somewhere it's touching the 50 and like a type 2 almost, or where the TDI is basically bouncing off the 50 here like this. That's what I would want to see. If it doesn't happen that way, I just don't take the trade, because that's not what I wanted to happen didn't happen, right? So just because I want something to happen doesn't mean that it's going to happen. But if it happens, then I'm prepared to take the trade. If it doesn't happen, I just don't take the trade. What do you see here? Anything particular? You see how they went down and then now they've gone like this. Why would they not come back to the bottom? What do you think happened in this candle?
They trigger the sell stops used before.
Well, this candle by itself is about a 90 pip candle. So what do you think happened on that 90 pip candle? Trapping, yeah, right? So that's why they kept going a little bit higher, 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 higher. right? They didn't come back down, because if they did, then they would release the people that are trapped down here that chased this candle. Does that make sense? So I would expect a buy to actually happen here because of that behavior. I mean, you have, from here to here is about 100 pips. So just to get to the top here of the Asian range, just from here to here is still like 85 freaking pips. So 85 pips. Let's say to what, 60? It's about a 1.5 to 1 risk reward ratio. Let's say somewhere around there. And if it goes higher, great. But I mean, the simple form is just to get to the top. That'll give you 85 pips. You'd be pretty happy with 85 pips, right? So Thursday, what are you looking for on Thursday? Think about this. Think about the bigger picture. What's happening here? What is it doing? Right. So what level are you on now? Right. 2. So what would you be looking for? Buys. Yes. Be looking for buys. So now, because you're looking for buys on Thursday, what would be the ideal buy type of scenario that you would want to possibly happen? What type? Buy coming from the 200? Yeah. Yeah, either or. Like, I don't know what's with this thing that I have. I don't know why I like bounces off EMAs. I just do. So either a type 1 bounce off the EMA 200 and off the low of yesterday, or a type 3 to go higher would be my deal. One of those two type of trade scenarios, essentially. So either a type 1 that hits a 200 and that would also hit the low of yesterday, or the a type 3 would be the ideal one that I would want, right? Type 2 I kind of don't like, because it's like in the middle here, and you'd have to go back through the 50 and all that stuff. So ideally a type 1 or a type 3 is what I would really like to have happen. There, look, you went all the way, you went down, back up, down. You see that little sequence here of like this. Do you see that? That was probably your trade right there. Would you be not happy getting that trade? Think about that one trade. It's like 350 pips in one day. Like, I mean, I don't know about you, but I probably wouldn't trade the rest of the week or the rest of the month for that fact. So you see what I mean? So coming into Friday now, I mean, Friday, ideally you'd want buys, but Friday could be basically a setup for the next day or the next week of, of a trending cycle or whatever cycle it is. So recap that, your peak 1, 2, and then you're at, where are you at now? Building what? Level 3, right? You're building at level 3. So if you're building at level 3, either one of two things, pretty much sideways through the whole day just to build out the level. Or you might get, possibility of a sell. I mean, let me play the rest of this Asian session out real quick just to see. I mean, you see how it pins right here to that 50, to the bottom. Then past the 50, right? It's like the 50 is almost holding it. So 50 is probably likely to push it up higher. Yeah, there's pushing it up higher. Now, very interesting is that look, where did it go up to? You see where it went up to? Previous week's high. Touch for the second leg. Touch for the second leg here of the opening of the US session. All right, look at this candle here. Came back again. I mean, this candle here was probably news. This is probably news induced here. This is what? Yeah, this is 10:15 news. So this is a news candle here. So you basically had really one trade here as a type 3 that met all pretty much your criteria. This one here, I think, would have been just way too much. May it look like a great trade, but the fact is, you're getting in. Let's say if you get in on the retracement here, you're in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 candles that you're not in profit. It would take you out of the trade anyways. So it wouldn't make sense. So there is a week on gold for you. And so think about what kind of a cycle did you have on gold that week? You had pretty much a trending cycle, right? Well, what do trending cycles are going to make you have? Basically levels. Does that make sense? All right, guys, welcome back. I hope that you enjoyed watching that back testing session. I hope you gained some type of knowledge from that. And so, guys, if you need any more help, we have a new class, starts August 10th. The links are in the description. Thank you so much for the support, guys, and enjoy the rest of your week.